I was floating peacefully in my own backyard pool, fully fenced, legally private, when I heard a woman screaming outside my gate. 10 minutes later, police had guns drawn on me, because my neighbor claimed I was a sexual predator for swimming in my own pool. I bought the house for one reason: privacy. After 12 years working as a civil engineer in Phoenix, I wanted quiet. No shared walls. No HOA nonsense. No neighbors watching my every move like it was entertainment. The property sat on the edge of a newer suburban development. Half-acre lot, 6-foot brick walls, locked iron gate, and a pool tucked so far back you couldn't see it from the street or neighboring homes. I checked zoning laws, county records, and fencing regulations twice before closing. Everything was legal. Everything was private. Or so I thought. It was a Sunday afternoon in late May. Arizona heat was already brutal, pushing 102 degrees. I finished mowing the yard, locked the gate behind me, and jumped into the pool wearing swim trunks. Nothing unusual, nothing indecent. No kids around. No neighbors visible. Just me, water, and silence. That peace lasted maybe 15 minutes. That's when I heard the clicking sound. At first I thought it was a sprinkler valve or maybe a bird. Then I heard it again, sharp, mechanical. Click. I lifted my head and scanned the yard. That's when I saw her. A middle-aged woman standing on a ladder on her side of the wall, phone held horizontally, pointed straight at me. She was filming. "Hey!" I yelled. "What are you doing?" She didn't respond. She zoomed in. I got out of the pool immediately. "Stop filming me," I shouted. "This is private property." She smirked. Actually smirked. "You shouldn't be exposing yourself where children can see," she yelled back. I looked around in disbelief. There were no children. No windows facing the pool. No line of sight from anywhere except her ladder. "I'm in my own backyard," I said. "Behind a fence. You're trespassing my privacy." She snapped another photo. Then she climbed down and disappeared. I didn't think much of it. I figured she was just another neighborhood Karen looking for drama. I dried off, went inside, and tried to shake it off. 20 minutes later, my doorbell rang. I opened the door to 3 police officers. One had his hand resting on his holster. "Sir," the lead officer said, "we received a call about a potential sexual offense involving minors." My heart dropped. "What?" I said. "That's insane." "A neighbor reported you were exposing yourself in your pool and deliberately positioning yourself so children could see," he continued. I felt like the air left my lungs. "I was swimming," I said slowly, "in my fenced backyard. Alone." "Sir," another officer said, "we need you to step outside." I complied. I had nothing to hide. Still, the humiliation burned. That's when I saw her. Standing across the street, arms crossed, smug smile on her face. The ladder was gone. Her name, I would later learn, was Linda Watkins. Linda told police she had concerns. She claimed she'd seen me multiple times, positioning myself inappropriately in the pool. She claimed children could see me from her upstairs window. She claimed she took photos for evidence. When the officer asked to see them, she hesitated. Then she showed them. They were cropped, zoomed, angled to remove the fence line. Anyone looking at them without context would think I was swimming in open view. The officer turned to me. "Do you have any cameras on your property?" "Yes," I said. 4. Including one covering the pool. That changed everything. The footage told the real story. It showed Linda dragging a ladder from her garage. It showed her placing it directly against the shared wall. It showed her climbing up and filming into my private yard. One officer muttered, "Jesus." The lead officer turned pale. "Ma'am," he said to Linda, "did you enter a position specifically to observe and record him?" She stammered. "I was concerned for the children." "What children?" he asked. She pointed vaguely. "There are families in this neighborhood." The officer nodded slowly. "And yet you're the only one filming." She stopped smiling. Linda was arrested that afternoon. Charges included false report to law enforcement, invasion of privacy, unlawful surveillance, filing a knowingly false allegation of sexual misconduct. But it didn't end there. Because once you accuse someone of being a predator, even falsely, you don't get to undo that damage quietly. Word spread fast. At first some neighbors avoided me. Others whispered. Then the police report became public. Then the body cam footage leaked. Then the full security footage, with timestamps, ladder, and everything, was entered into court records. Local news picked it up. Headline: Phoenix woman arrested after illegally filming neighbor, filing false predator claim. Linda lost her job. She worked in a school district. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. Parents demanded answers. She was fired within a week. Linda didn't look so confident in court. Her lawyer tried to argue misinterpretation. The judge wasn't buying it. "You deliberately climbed a ladder to peer into a fenced private yard," the judge said. "You then manipulated evidence and falsely accused a man of one of the most serious crimes possible." She was fined heavily, given probation, ordered to attend counseling. and hit with a restraining order barring her from contacting me, or filming anything on my property ever again. I sued. Not for revenge. For accountability. The settlement covered legal fees, emotional distress, defamation, installation of higher privacy walls. She had to sell her house to pay it. The day she moved out, she didn't look at me. I didn't wave. When the HOA smelled blood, I thought it was over when Linda moved out. I was wrong. 3 days after the moving truck left, I found a yellow envelope taped to my front door. HOA notice, immediate compliance required. I laughed out loud. I wasn't even in the HOA. My property predated the subdivision by almost 20 years. I had verified it during escrow. Separate deed. Separate zoning. No HOA authority. But apparently Linda had been busy before she left. She'd filed multiple complaints with the Homeowners Association, claims that my pool was a community safety hazard, that my fence was non-compliant, and that my cameras were intimidating to neighbors. In other words, her last attempt at control. I called the HOA office. A man named Darren, nasal voice, Power Trip Energy, answered. Sir, he said, we've received several reports. I don't belong to your HOA, I cut in. Boss, our records show. Your records are wrong, I said calmly. Check the county plat. Another pause. I'll have to escalate this. Please do. 2 nights later, around 9:40 p.m., I heard sirens again. This time I didn't panic. I turned on every exterior light and waited on the porch. Same department. Different officers. Sir, one said, clearly embarrassed, we received another call about suspicious activity involving surveillance equipment. I nodded. Let me guess. Anonymous? They exchanged a look. Yeah. I pulled up the footage. It showed 2 HOA board members standing outside my gate earlier that evening, pointing at my cameras, taking photos, whispering. One officer sighed. Sir, you're not doing anything illegal. I know. Do you want to press harassment charges? That was the moment I realized something important. This wasn't just about Linda anymore. This was about control. Once the second police visit hit the neighborhood Facebook group, everything changed. Someone posted the body cam footage. Someone else posted screenshots of the security footage. Then a third person uploaded Linda's original 911 call, which had been released under public records. Her voice cracked through speakers all over the neighborhood. There's a man, watching children, exposing himself. Except now people knew the truth. Comments exploded. So she climbed a ladder to spy on him? That's predatory behavior, on her part. Why is the HOA involved in a non-HOA property? Parents were furious, not at me but at the fact that a woman who worked around kids had weaponized a false accusation. The HOA board went silent. Too silent. My attorney suggested expanding the civil case. Add the HOA. Add harassment. Add conspiracy to defame. We filed. Subpoenas went out. Emails came back. And oh, were they ugly. Turns out Linda had been emailing the HOA for months before the pool incident. She didn't like my fence. Didn't like my cameras. Didn't like that I didn't participate in community standards. One email stood out. If he won't comply voluntarily, we need to find a way to force action. That email alone blew the case wide open. Watching HOA board members squirm under oath was almost surreal. Darren denied everything, until the emails were displayed on a screen. Then he blamed Linda. Linda blamed concerned residents. The judge wasn't impressed. You coordinated complaints knowing this property was outside your jurisdiction, she said. That's harassment. The HOA's lawyer asked for a recess. They didn't come back confident. The HOA folded fast. They paid. They issued a written apology. They were ordered to formally notify all residents that my property was private. The accusations were false. Any further harassment would result in immediate legal action. Darren resigned 2 weeks later. 2 other board members followed. The Facebook group renamed itself, literally, from Sunridge Community Watch to Mind Your Own Damn Business, Sunridge. I wish I was joking. 6 months later I got a call from my lawyer. She violated the restraining order, he said. She posted online. A long rant. Claiming she was the real victim. Claiming she'd been silenced. Claiming I'd gotten away with it. The judge didn't even let her finish speaking. Probation revoked. 30 days in county jail. Courtroom silent. The ladder mark on the wall is gone. The fence is higher. The cameras are still there, but now they're respected. New neighbors moved in. They waved. They brought cookies. One asked if I minded if their kids used my pool with permission. I smiled. Of course not. Because that was the difference. Consent. Truth. Reality. Not paranoia. Even after the lawsuits ended, something didn't. People assume once the truth comes out, life just snaps back to normal. It doesn't. For months after the accusation, I noticed things. Parents pulling their kids a little closer when they saw me, until they remembered. Cashiers hesitating when they recognized my face from the news. That half-second pause when people tried to place why they knew me. A false accusation doesn't disappear. It lingers like smoke. That's when I decided to take control of the narrative. I didn't want revenge. I wanted the truth documented permanently. With my attorney's approval, I agreed to a sit-down interview with a local investigative journalist named Mark Ellis, a guy known for tearing apart corruption stories. He didn't want drama. He wanted facts. I gave him everything. The original 911 call, body cam footage, security video, HOA emails, court transcripts. When the piece aired, it wasn't flashy. It was devastating. The headline read, "How a False 911 Call Nearly Ruined an Innocent Man, and What It Reveals About Weaponized Accusations." It went national. Once the story hit Reddit, TikTok, and YouTube commentary channels, the reaction exploded. Legal analysts broke it down. Former police officers weighed in. Psychologists explained moral panic behavior. And then people started asking the question Linda never wanted asked. Why did she feel entitled to watch him at all? That's when the narrative flipped completely. She wasn't a concerned neighbor anymore. She was labeled what she truly was: a voyeur, a liar, and someone who tried to destroy a life to feel powerful. One afternoon I found an envelope in my mailbox. No return address. Inside was a handwritten letter. My brother killed himself after a false accusation. Seeing someone fight back, and win, mattered more than you know. I sat at the kitchen table for a long time after that. That was the moment I understood something deeper. This story wasn't just about me. Linda's probation violation hearing wasn't dramatic. It was worse. It was quiet. She stood there, smaller than before, eyes darting, hands shaking. The judge looked tired. "I gave you every opportunity to move on," the judge said. "You chose to relive it, to escalate, to rewrite reality." Linda tried to cry. The judge didn't look away. "You didn't protect children," she continued. "You endangered the integrity of justice." 30 days. No early release. No sympathy. The HOA never recovered. Membership dropped. Meetings became empty. Residents stopped paying dues. A year later, the association dissolved. No announcement. No apology. Just a final notice filed with the county. The irony? The HOA dissolved because of lack of community trust. I was in my pool again. Same spot. Same water. Same sun. But everything felt different. Not because I was afraid. Because I wasn't. A neighbor leaned over the fence, not with a ladder but standing on the ground. "Hey," he said, "just wanted to say, you didn't deserve any of that." I nodded. "I know." That night I checked my cameras, not out of paranoia but habit. Nothing moved. No ladders. No phones. No lies. Just quiet. A woman tried to turn my privacy into a crime. A lie into a weapon. And fear into authority. But truth doesn't need a ladder to be seen. And once it rises, no fence can hide the damage done by those who abuse it.